Hello, this is Kevin Stroup, and today I like to open up and tell the truth. It's been bothering me for a long time, and I've been through a lot. So I think me doing this and letting others know what's going on would be very helpful for me, just to get it out of my system and let people know how reality is. I work at Ford, been there 18 years, and I have come to the conclusion that instead of Ford being built tough, Ford is built gay. I noticed over 18 years being at Ford that they have a very heavy gay clique. And for a person to go up the ladder or to get a better job, gay activity is required. And these things bothered me. And I like to tell you a story about myself trying to fight the system. Now, gay people, as far as I'm concerned, they can have their life as long as they leave me alone. I don't condone it, but this is the 21st century, and I guess we have to accept gay people. But I found out they're very militant, and quite a few, some of them, are very evil. So as far as I'm concerned with Ford, from in management, William Clay Ford, Bill Ford, and on down the management system are gay. And to go up the ladder at Ford, to progress and get a better job, gay activity is required. And years back, I hurt myself, cut the tendon in my left hand at Ford. And while I was on medical restriction, they put me in management's office to do filing with my one hand and phone work. Well, while I was in that office, the talk was so gay that finally I made a comment, and I know they didn't like that, and I saw gay activity, and well, long story short, after my hand healed, they had me out of there because I wasn't willing to do gay things to stay in the office. Now, to give you an idea of what's going on at Ford, Ford makes automobiles, but the workers, they work hard, and they depend on the union but then the union is so tied up and wrapped up in a ball with management that you really can't trust the union. And to give you an idea what's going on at Ford is that they have cameras watching you. You got microphones. Few of the management teams will actually talk to you on their microphones while you're trying to do your job. And they're watching you. And they have speakers, I should say, that they can talk to you. And they have microphones listening to what you had to say on the job. Well, with all this, the gay activity, what I saw, and all the other things, I knew what was going on. And I couldn't understand why the other people didn't get on the line. I tried to say what was going on and nobody would believe me. And being the person I am, I started arguing back with the management team, seeing what was going on. You know, like a guy that's got less seniority than me, who gets a job in the office. There's more going on than how he got that easy job in the office than you would think. He turned gay, or was already partially gay or bisexual by nature, but he got a job in the office. And those things would irritate you. Why can't just a heterosexual be able to make it in Ford? So I was doing the roof install. And here I got the microphones and speakers and the camera on me, and I'm dealing with all that. And then management walks around with walkie-talkies, or you know, they talk into them, they can listen, microphones or whatever it is, and they talk to each other. And goes back to one date that started making fun of me, talking about my appearance and this, that, and the other. And management was standing next to me, and I could hear him talking on the radio about me. Well, this was everywhere, and then they knew that they knew I could hear it and all that. So then I wanted to make a bitch about it. It was not fair. You know, it's got thousands of something people working for it, and all this management team listen to them making fun of me. And hell, I started bitching and moaning. They sent me to the doctor. Each plant has its own doctor, and they wanted to know if everything was okay. So I wouldn't have filed a grievance. This was in St. Louis plant. It's gone. I got transferred. So with all that done, them making fun of me on the radio and all this stuff. One morning I come in early. You got to get an idea. They got speakers all over the plant. The plant manager, I've heard him talk many times. I knew how his voice sounded, and I walk in all by myself that morning, and then I hear on the microphone, well, they're going to have to give him the plant manager position now to pay him off. So I go on my job, and different people are walking around looking at me, and this went on for a few weeks. And on the speaker, I could hear them talking about them giving me the management position. And then lo and behold, they were going to give me a management position to the plant manager position to pay me off. And they tried to give me the plant manager position twice, but the union and local management fought against it. Hell, they had groves of people fighting against it because they knew I knew what was going on. And they're lucky. I would have went through every office and pulled out every guy that had got into the job because of gay activity. I would have cleaned shop. I'd put other people in that deserved it or deserved the position. So, lo and behold, my fine union tells upper management in Dearborn that I refuse the position. That's my union. So I almost became plant manager, and I had to bite my lip and know that went on. And got screwed by my union and got screwed by labor relations there and screwed by local management. And they closed the plant and I got transferred. Then I get transferred to the Kansas City assembly plant. And there, a whole new thing went on. And it was not right at all. I wanted to file a grievance. It kind of caught me off guard because after all that happened, everybody disappeared. They closed the plant. And they transferred me to Kansas City. And the same thing was going on at the Kansas City plant. And I sat back and watched that for about a year, and I thought I'm finally going to file a grievance. Because that's the only thing you can do. If you see something wrong or something like that, or you've been wronged, you file a grievance. So I told my plant, you go through the union to file a grievance. Well, my committeeman, I call my union committeeman, and I call him my comedian. I told him that I wanted to file a grievance because of gay activity, and how Ford condones it. And it's all right for him to condone it, but it shouldn't run the system. And he turns around and sends the message to labor relations. So this a few weeks later, I'm outside eating lunch, and I didn't have my mobile phone. This is a good one. This is a good one. I got my mobile phone up there on my workstation. So on the phone, I took a picture of my guns, and pretty happy with my gun rack, cherry wood gun rack, and all my guns and all that. I showed it to a guy, my guns, and then not thinking that what would happen at St. Louis plant, the Kansas City plant, they got microphones and cameras up and everything like that. And I had my phone up there. And I showed the picture of my guns to I showed my picture of my guns to a guy and all this, and I'm doing all this stuff. So they're probably monitoring me and watching me, or they did. So I go out for lunch. And this is an unbelievable story. I'm sitting there outside smoking a cigarette, trying to relax, and my commitment walks out the door and goes, "Here, Kev, come here. Come here, Kev, come here." So I follow him, and he follows me in, and then find out that they said I sent a text picture message of my guns to a girl, and claimed that I was going to grab her and interrogate her, and it had a picture of my guns. Well, I didn't even have the girl's phone number. I know her, but I didn't even have. She works along with management. You know, she's a schemer. And I get in there, and they're first of all, the labor relations guy goes, "I don't care about the text, but the picture showing and all that." But they they sent that back on my phone. I mean, someone had grabbed my phone and did all these things while I was out for lunch. And they were blaming me, and my commitment was saying, "You must have done it when you're drunk." But then, I don't know what the story was. You know, I'm sitting there trying to think, I don't even have that girl's phone number. So this is going to get good. This is going to get good. So I decided, with all this harassment going on, I'm going to tell the truth and tell them I want to file my grievance, since labor relations already knew. And they're trying to get me with something else. So I told them my grievance about the gay activity and all the other stuff that was going on. And come to find out, they had this all planned out during this lunchtime, where they were going to send me to a mental ward. So I'm sitting in the office, and the labor relation guy, and you got to understand, my union's sitting there. And he says, "We're sending you to a mental institution. And if you don't go, I'm going to tell them that you quit." Well, I got a wife and a son. And me telling my side of the story. Then they sent me down to the doctor. He wouldn't hear my story, so I told him my story about gay activity and all this stuff. So I guess before they can send you anywhere, medical or mental, they got to talk to the doctor. So I'm just telling the truth. How, as far as I know, they're all gay. And I have a sneaky suspicion they are. Well, they lead me out. Security leads me outside, and there's the police standing there. There's a bunch of labor relations people standing there. They got safety standing there. They got a ambulance sitting there, and they're gonna haul me off. And I look at one of the union guys for some, they're corrupt, but who else I had to turn to? I looked at the union guy, and he goes, "What should I do now?" He says, "I would just get on in there and take it and go." Well, first of all, that's I have freedom of speech. And secondly, I didn't send that picture text message. I didn't even have that girl's phone number. And then my union man's got it on his phone. And later on, I find out that with my superintendent talking, that the plant manager, and I'm getting a cup of coffee, he's in the back office. This is how these people talk. They don't care. They don't care if I can hear it or like that. That the plant manager told management to use my mobile phone and send the text. So, whoa, did I get railroaded? So all I know is I find myself going to a mental ward. And they sent me to a mental ward. Then they drugged me all up. I had to stay in that mental ward for 2 weeks till they let me go. So I think my rights were violated. I think that I know that Ford has a hellacious gay clique going on. Like I said, from Bill or William Clay Ford all the way down, it's a big clique in management. It's a big clique going on. You can't go up the ladder or get a better job unless you do gay activity. And you got a heterosexual like me trying to file a grievance against it for being unfair, and I'm sent to a mental ward. And I guess their goal or their scheme was that just to make me sound crazy, and then they had something legal in case I wanted to sue them. That I was crazy, and I didn't know what I was talking about. But what I just told you is from the heart and it's truth, and felt my rights were violated. Still working there. I'm laid off. I should be going back to work in a few months. So, you know, putting this on YouTube, let you know about Ford. And Ford's built gay. Don't get me wrong, though. We work hard. And Fords are a good vehicle, but I'd let you know about management and how life is. And you know, what upsets me is that I'm a staunch heterosexual. They could dangle a plant manager position in front of me, but then say that I gotta suck a penis to get in there. I wouldn't do it. I would stay on the job and work my ass off instead of doing something like that. I'm not going to turn gay. But what upsets me is I got a 13-year-old son. And if the system is like that Ford, there's other places that have systems like that. So when my son gets out there in the workforce, he comes across that, and he's a heterosexual. That if has that put in front of him, he's being his rights are being violated. You know, it's like forcing being a homosexual on you, and it's not right. It's harassment. It's harassment going on. So now, you know, it upsets me is that when you buy a gun, they ask you if you've ever been to a mental place. And give you an idea, I've bought guns before and got guns, but then what happened to me with Ford, I went to Walmart and they had a sell on 30-06s with 12-power scopes on them. It was a Remington, and I thought it looked like a pretty good gun, and came with the scope and all that stuff. So I fill out the paperwork and do the thing on the computer to get a 30-06, and I'm denied Because that one thing asking you if you ever did domestic violence, have you ever been had any mental things or gone to a mental ward or whatever it said on there. And I thought to myself, now damn, now I can't even buy a gun. I got denied. So, you know, that's a mark on me now. And they, you know, they put a mark on me. Just because I think gay activity is incorrect in the workplace. If you're a good worker, you should be able to go up the ladder. You should be able to get in the office if they have credentials. They should have a test or something like that. You know, what they'll do with a lot of jobs is they'll post them as job openings. But then they do that, but in turn, it's all politics, and the guy that ends up getting the job has done this. And it's not right. Well, I'm going to post this on YouTube here in a second. And I'll let you know if I ever get fired or something like that. I sometimes think they're hacking in my computer and checking my email. And see, they Ford has you go through your computer and go to their website to check your pay. So they've got contact. I know about computers. They got contact now with your computer. So, you know, it's actually, you know, I always question the fact, are they hacking in my computer? Are they watching me? You know, I don't want to sound insane, but sounds possible. So if I end up getting fired over this, I want to let you know that I did this to let you all know what's going on. And to inform your sons that they go into it. If it's happening there at Ford, you can expect it to happen in other places. So us heterosexuals need to stick together, not fall for this gay cliques and this do gay activity to move up the ladder. That's sinful. That's sickening. It's evil. It's an evil system. How many men back there play father and husband, and when they go to work, they do gay activity? What a joke. What a joke it is. Playing Mr. Family Man. But then at work, they're Mr. Gay Guy. Being gay to make it. To go up the ladder. How sick and evil does that sound? Even you gay people here, out there that may watch this. Do you think it's right that you're tested and put on the spot to go through gay activity, even if you're not gay, to go up the ladder or get a position or to fill in with the clique? That's sickening. It's like a business where everybody's got to wear a black suit and a black tie and a white shirt. You know, if that's the system, everybody there is going to wear a black tie, black suit, and a white shirt. So if the system of Ford is to be gay, that's influencing men and young men to turn gay. They'll be thinking, well, working on this line is really hard. But then if I turn gay and have sex with some of these upper management guys, I'll get a good job in the office. That's what's going on. That was the reason of my grievance. And what did they do? They sent me to a mental ward. And then I'm sitting in the one office in the mental ward, and I hear the psychiatrist and another psychiatrist talking, and my psychiatrist says, and I can hear him because they got the door open, they're talking on the other side after I had a talk with him, that Ford has me in there because I don't like gay people. They didn't talk about it. See, it was a frame. I got framed. I got framed with a text message, and they sent me in according to that, but then my psychiatrist lets it open and says that Ford's got me in there for not liking gay people. And that, in turn, if I didn't go to the mental ward, I would have got fired. So, this is Kevin Stroup. What I told you was what's happened to me after 18 years of seniority at Ford. The system's corrupt. And just shows what's going on out there. Shows what corruption and evil behavior that's going on in the business world. Capitalism. So you all take care of yourselves, fight against the system, and I'll be back with you some other time on my channel on YouTube. Have a good day.